Hi there, my name is Dereck and I am going to be your student physio today. So you've came today to have a wee chat with me, and we're just going to try and figure out how I can help you. I'm just going to check your date of birth. Can you tell me your date of birth, please?
So it's the 2nd of the 3rd, 1977.
And that makes you 40 years young. Perfect. And can I just check your name?
Tara.
Hi, Tara. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to ask you a series of questions, just asking what happened, how you're feeling, what's going on. I'm going to be writing notes, so again, by all means, don't think I'm ignoring you, I'm listening to you. So I'm going to ask a series of questions and then write notes on them. What I'm going to do is kind of try and guide the conversation, so if there's something that you mention that I feel is of particular interest, I'm going to try and steer that. But again, this is your time, so just use the time to talk to me and try and get as much information as you can. Later on, we'll be covering some questions that you might feel not relevant, but by all means, if you need me to clarify them, I can try my best to try and do that. It's just to try and ascertain a whole picture, because if we know what the whole picture is, we can try and address the situation. So you're happy to continue with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll just start with what brought you here today. So what is the main issue?
So about 2 weeks ago now, I was on holiday with my friends. We went snowboarding, and I fell with my arm outstretched like this, and got a really bad pain around here.
Okay.
On my right. Yeah, and it's not really went away since.
Okay. Do you have any pain anywhere else?
No, it's just this area.
Just there. Nothing in the elbow, nothing in the wrist?
No.
Okay. How would you describe the pain?
I started off as a sharp pain, but now it's a bit of an ache throughout the day.
Okay.
But if I'm using it, it builds up to a sharp pain again.
So it's sharp on the day it happened,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, and now it's went to about an ache, but when you use it, it gets aggravated. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any swelling?
No, there wasn't.
Was there any color changes? Did you notice any color changes?
No.
Did you notice any heat? Did it feel warmer or anything? Okay, and the pain, again, you said it was a sharp pain and it went into an ache, but when you use it, it goes into, okay. What are your expectations from coming today and presenting with that?
Well, I'm getting quite a lot of pain when I'm working, you see, because I'm quite mobile with this arm. So I'd just like to be able to work without that much pain.
Okay, great. We're going to come back and touch on those expectations later on. So again, just trying to establish what you're looking for and what you want me to help you with.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to the pain. So we're going to be using a scale, 0 being no pain at all, 10 being absolute agony. How would you describe the pain when it happened?
When it happened, it was probably about an 8. It was really bad.
So an 8 sharp pain.
Yeah.
Okay. And how would you describe it now?
Now it's usually sitting throughout the day. It's about a 6.
Okay, 6, and that's an aching kind of pain.
Yeah.
Talk me through the depth of the pain. Do you feel it like at the bone? Do you feel it at the muscle? Or do you feel it at the skin?
I'm not too sure, but I'd say it's quite deep. I don't
Deep.
feel it up to the top. It feels quite deep. I think.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure whether it's muscle or bone, obviously, but it's quite deep.
When we do the practical examination, we'll try and delve a bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
But so deep pain, so it's not the skin, it's more inside, so possibly muscle, possibly bone. Perfect. We've established the type of pain. It's a sharp pain when it happened. It aches throughout the day, but when you're using it, it goes back up into a sharp pain. So the pain, therefore, we can say is constant.
Yeah.
So it's a constant 6. And we've established that there's no other painful areas. You don't feel the pain anywhere else.
No.
Okay. So the severity of it, as we've established, is an 8. It goes up to an 8, which is quite high. What irritates it? So what kind of activities irritate it? You said that working?
Yeah, if I bring my arm around like this, I work at an aerospace company.
Right.
So I've got a lot of movement and fixing stuff, you see.
Okay.
So yeah, I have to be quite mobile.
Quite mobile.
But luckily I'm left-handed, so my right arm isn't as affected. Like I can still manage my daily routine.
Right.
But if this arm comes into play, then it's really sad.
Okay, of course. And we've established the nature of it a little bit, but we're going to look into that in more detail. So do you think that there's anything else that's linked to the pain and the injury? Do you feel that there's other areas, anything else that's affected?
No.
No. So we'll look at now, you've touched upon aggravation times, and that's what we're going to try and get a little bit deeper into now. So you said working when you're using it. So what kind of activities, what kind of movements do you feel trigger that pain?
Just like reaching, putting equipment up to the side, lifting heavy objects, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Getting changed, obviously, needing a bit more, like using both hands, you see.
Of course. So how long does it take you to get that to aggravate? So when you're working, for example, how long does it take for those aggravating factors to kick in?
I'd say it can build up within 5 minutes.
5 minutes. And after the initial 5 minutes, you said it goes up to about the 8 in the sharp pain scale.
Yeah.
How long does it take for that 8 to drop back down to its resting?
Well, I
pain?
usually take paracetamol if it gets quite sore, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take paracetamol, and once that wears off, it usually say 2-3 hours. It'll help for.
So it helps for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's great. But how long does it take for it to kick in and like actually you feel that discomfort reduces?
About half an hour. I'm not too sure.
30
I've never
minutes.
really noticed that.
You never really noticed. Well, next time when you go home today and you can come back and see us, maybe have a wee think of, if I'm using it, it takes 5 minutes to get aggravated, but if I rest for 10, 15 minutes, whatever, it gets better. So just try and be a bit more aware of that. Because the pain's a nasty thing, because you're aware of it when it's its worst, but we don't really notice it. So try and keep track of that for me, and we'll just talk about that next time you're in.
Okay.
What about your sleep? Do you feel that your sleep is affected by the injury?
I wake up about 2-3 times a night.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly if I roll over onto this side.
Okay.
I usually sleep on this side or on my back, but just as you're moving your sleep, I wake up a little bit and sort of here.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk through 24 hours. So in your average day, so we've established that you work. How long are your shifts?
I work 9 to 5.
And that's Monday to Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, could you talk me through your average 24 hours?
So I just get up in the morning, I get changed, have breakfast, I walk to work like a mile or 2, sort of thing, not far. Through the day I'll be moving stuff, lifting, and then it'll be quite sore, so when I come home from work, usually I'll go for a run or something like that, but I just like to sit in front of the TV.
Sorry, just the local police are just driving past, sorry. It's a busy hospital, we see. Sorry, so you sit and just rest now?
Yeah, usually I go for a run or something like that after work, but I find that it's just sore after a busy day, so I don't really have much energy because of the pain.
Okay. So you've established that in the morning you wake up, you get dressed, and then you go to work and you do your shift. Can you talk me through the 24 hours but in relation to the pain? So in the morning, is it quite sore? Is it still a 6? Is it worse? Is it better?
No, it's good in the morning. It's still a 6, but it's better.
Yeah.
And then through the day it builds up because I'm being more active.
Okay.
And that's why at night I come home and I'll have a rest now instead. So if I have a rest after about an hour or 2, it's fine. So then I'll end up going to sleep then anyway.
So we talked about easing times and you couldn't really place it, but now you're saying it's about an hour?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect.
I do an hour when I come home from work.
It takes an hour to ease after the 9 till 5?
Yeah.
Perfect. Exactly what I need. And then at night time you're not as active, so the pain is not as high as it should be or is normally. Okay, and you said that you take paracetamol and ibuprofen for the pain and as and when required.
Yeah.
And that takes about half an hour for it to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Since the 2 weeks since the injury, how would you describe the pain? Is it improving? Is it quite static? Is it staying the same? Or is it actually getting worse?
Honestly, it stayed the same. It was really bad when I had the injury.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of stayed the constant 6, building up when I'm active.
Right.
But I've not seen any improvement over the past 2 weeks.
Perfect. Hopefully we can help you with that. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to some general health questions. The reason here is just to ascertain a bigger picture of what's going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things link into each other, so there might be something that we can maybe address. It's going to be a series of yes and no questions. We're also looking for your family history, so yes, you may not personally be affected, but if any of these jump out to you and you think, well, someone in my family, like my mom, my dad, or someone close knit family, has one of these conditions, maybe highlight that as well for me.
Okay.
So in terms of past medical history, you've not had this issue before?
No, I've not had any sort of injuries in that before.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
Never happens again. Good. Anything else that in terms of past medical history that's standing out? Any big operations, any surgeries, anything like that?
No. Generally been quite healthy.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is just a series of special questions. So again, just to ascertain what's going on. If you feel they're irrelevant, just ask again, I'll try and explain them. You've not had any colds or vomiting recently?
No.
Any tiredness, any changes in that?
We've just been tired from being like painful all of the day.
Yeah, and you're saying when you're waking up as well, and
Yeah.
it's disturbing your sleep. Okay. Have you had any unexplained weight loss or weight gain?
No.
Okay. Have you had any diagnosis or anything about rheumatoid arthritis?
No.
Drug therapies, like insulin, anything like that?
No.
But you are on ibuprofen and paracetamol?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I take.
You're not on any steroids?
No.
Nothing to thin your blood?
No.
You've not had an x-ray recently, anything like
No.
that? Any pins and needles, any tingling feeling in the feet, in the region where if you're sitting on a bicycle?
No.
Any changes to bladder function, toiletry habits? No. Any coronary artery disease or illnesses in the family or yourself? No? Okay. Any cancers, anything like that? No. Tuberculosis?
No.
HIV?
No.
Any cardiovascular respiratory issues, COPD, things like that? No. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, just in case I'm using an acronym, sorry, my bad. Any type of epilepsy or anything in the family or yourself?
No.
Any issues with thyroid function?
No.
Diabetes?
No.
Any bone or joint problems, arthritis or osteoporosis?
No.
Okay, great. So the medications, we're just going to delve a bit more on that. The ibuprofen and paracetamol, are you self-treating those, or have you seen a GP or?
No, I've just taken them.
Just taken them.
From my pregnancy.
Okay. And you say they help after 30 minutes?
Yeah.
They feel. So you're saying on a 6, it's normally a 6. What kind of pain is it when you're on the medication?
It goes like down to the 6 again.
Down to 6. Okay. We've touched upon your occupation. So you say you work 9 to 5 and you're an engineer. So you're moving objects and the pain gets worse when you're lifting things and moving things away from you. Is there any hobbies or anything that you do?
Like I said before, I like to go running and
Running.
obviously snowboarding.
Running, snowboarding.
But yeah.
Any daily activities of daily living, like getting dressed, washing yourself, you've touched upon that. Or you feel you can do that effectively, but it was the injury stopping you from doing that?
It doesn't stop me.
Okay. Are there any activities you want to get back to? Obviously the snowboarding.
I
and
just
things
like to
that.
be able to work without pain.
Okay, we've established the expectations early on. Is there any new expectations?
No.
Just wanting to get back to
that
work
seems fine.
and get back into it. Okay, that's perfect. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to a practical examination where I'm going to actually take a look at the injury and see what I can do to help.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. Let's get started.
Thank you.